This week has been a pretty mixed week, especially within the realm of Xbox. We have everything this week, from some massive updates that have been rolled out for this week, some brand new games that have been re-announced, alongside some massive services that have also been discontinued. It's been a bloody big effort for me to get all of this news into one single video. With that, my name is Fletcher, and this is Xbox Nation. If you're new here or just returning, I cover everything from Xbox news, reviews, updates, exclusive previews, and so much more every single day. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button as it really helps support the channel. Now, with that out of the way, let's dive into these massive Xbox updates coming your way. First off, I think it's well worth covering one of the biggest Xbox news stories for this week right out the gate, and that's including the films and movie debacle and the sudden shutdown on the Xbox Store. For well over a decade now, Microsoft has used its movies and TV service to allow all of us Xbox and PC users to rent or buy films from the Xbox Store. I even recently partook in actually buying and renting some films, as I did purchase the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy and also the Hobbit trilogy, so I do have to say that I'm actually one of those users who did use this service quite regularly. However, as of Friday, Microsoft has now abruptly stopped this service with no warning. The company did come out though and confirm that it will no longer be providing the service on both PCs and Xbox, although existing purchases will be honoured, meaning you'll still be able to watch your movies and TV shows that you've already purchased. Xbox users have been getting this confirmation via a message on their consoles, and Microsoft has also provided a more detailed FAQ on the official company's website. Honestly, I still think Xbox actually did close this one down due to the lack of players actually taking advantage of the films and TV section within the Xbox Store, but it's still disappointing to see, as having another store closed down is always disappointing for all of us consumers. I would be curious though, have any of you actually used the Xbox Films and TV app for quite some while? I'd be keen to have a discussion with you in the comments down below. The Elden Ring developer From Software has been pretty busy as of late, especially with the launch of obviously Shadow of the Erdtree, alongside the Switch 2 exclusive known as the Duskbloods, which is currently still in development. But it does seem that the Japanese studio might have something extra up their sleeve, as it's currently been reported that they might be working on a brand new experience. A new report from outlet MP First states that the codename FMC is a multi-platform From Software game, and it's in the advanced stages of its production over at the studio. The report also does go on to say that unless it hits a delay, we should actually be able to play this one no later than next year. To see another From Software game being released in 2026 would be absolutely wild, as they've been an incredibly busy team for sure. Considering the team's chunky Shadow of the Erdtree expansion only launched in 2024, and then Elden Ring Night Reign only came out a few months ago now, and to be honest, it gets me really excited to see what the future holds. So, the word on the street at the moment is that apparently Black Ops 7 could actually be released this November. Are you shocked? Well, you're probably not, especially as we see Call of Duty releases usually about the October time every single year. However, it does seem that Xbox and Activision have pushed back the title slightly into November to give it a little bit of leeway, especially as this seems to be a follow-up from last year's entry. Personally, I don't actually mind if they are pushing this one back to November. If we saw the likes of Modern Warfare 3 and that very short dev cycle, any extra time is certainly warranted, as Modern Warfare 3 on release was pretty disappointing. The official release date though is set for the 14th of November 2025, and that's according to well-known COD leaker The Ghost of Hope. The same source is also claiming that Call of Duty Next, which is usually a regular hands-on event for the year's upcoming COD title, will take place at the end of September, prior to a public beta test. Of course, we also saw the news from Gamescom that Black Ops 7 will have a gameplay reveal and all of that jazz at the opening night live show, so I fully expect we'll get a confirmed release date at that showcase. I'm always very skeptical these days, especially when it comes to insiders, especially with The Ghost of Hope, as not all of his news stories have been correct so far. Still, I kind of wanted to highlight this one today and bring it to the forefront of your minds, because of course, this is usually the biggest entertainment release that we see every single year. What's actually surprising to me is neither Microsoft or Asus have actually come out and given us a price tag as of yet for the new Xbox ROG Ally, which is still due to come out later on this year, but it does actually seem that a couple of creators have actually unveiled the price point, and it has actually leaked from the Asus store itself. This was spotted by an outlet known as 3D Wagos, and they've taken a screen grab of a Google preview that does says it's from the Asus store itself. According to the preview, the cheaper version will be around €600 and the more expensive one will be €900. Personally, I'm still kind of convinced that that's kind of just a placeholder price at the moment for the current SKUs, but I do believe it will launch lower, as I really don't see Xbox launching at such a high price tag in today's market. I do reckon that Microsoft will somewhat take a little bit of the hit, especially when it comes to the cost, especially because they want to get more people into that ecosystem. They have stated multiple times now that they track their statistics via monthly active users, so it wouldn't surprise me if they go in with a lower price point. Either way, we should get the reveal of the price point of this new handheld very soon. I'm personally thinking that we'll get a price reveal at Gamescom this year, along with pre-orders going live the moment of opening night live. Still, I'm quite excited for this one, and I would be keen to hear if you're going to pick up this new handheld in the comments below. I think it's safe to say at this point that Cyberpunk 2077 really isn't going anywhere anytime soon, and a team over at CD Projekt Red have detailed the game's 2.3 update this week, and it features some brand new vehicles and associated quests, a new auto drive system, VRR support on current gen consoles, and so much more. The update is actually out now and has a ton of content, which to be honest has caught me pretty off guard. Honestly, this patch is pretty staggering, and I just love seeing these additional changes and extra content that CDPR keeps adding to this great game. A pretty large and notable absence from the Xbox Game Showcase for this year was Starfield, and despite an update from the team back in March stating that a lot of exciting things are actually planned for this game, we've heard nothing since. While those things clearly weren't ready to be shown off this summer, it is claimed that Bethesda Game Studios is still working on Starfield, including some brand new DLC. This report does come from Windows Central Jez Corden, who claims that the Bethesda team is currently working on a brand new Starfield DLC alongside the eagerly anticipated Elder Scrolls 6. He did state the following: Bethesda's core team is still working on Starfield. Starfield's gonna have some more DLC from what I've heard. I don't know when, I just heard that at least the Starfield DLC, and this is post layoffs by the way, and hasn't been cancelled. It could be cancelled in the future. Next quarter, I really don't know, but for now it's not cancelled. So the core team at Bethesda right now are working on Starfield DLC, and also Elder Scrolls 6 is full steam ahead. This was a pretty interesting update, as I know many fans were really outspoken with the fact that Starfield didn't make an appearance, especially as they did show off the Shattered Space DLC at the Xbox Showcase in 2024. In case you missed it the other day, a brand new Xbox Game Pass game was also shadow dropped onto the service, and I'm actually quite surprised it was never mentioned by Xbox at the time of the Game Pass news this last Tuesday. The game in question is called He Is Coming. It has arrived on PC Game Pass for now only, and it's also in a game preview form, which essentially means it's in early access. Basically, this game takes the form of a roguelike RPG auto-battler where your goal is to strike down the Demon King and his legion of minions. It does seem like a pretty decent title, and from people I know who have played this so far, they seem to pretty much enjoy it. So if you have a PC, it seems like it's recommended and it's well worth a download to try it out for yourself. This year, Xbox has really been pushing out a couple of great initiatives, especially for all of us consumers, that being the Xbox Play Anywhere program, and then also the Stream Your Own Games initiative. And what I wanted to highlight today was mainly the streaming your games, as they've been adding a ton to the service over this past year. We have been seeing a bloody ton of games being opted in for this service, which now allows you to play your purchase games via the clouds on any device, and I think it's easily seen over 500 additions for this year so far. Well, this July we've seen 30 plus games being added, and I've chucked up the list for you on screen now. I do have to say it's a massive win for all of you Assassin's Creed and LEGO fans, as a vast majority of their titles are now playable via the cloud. There's clearly a massive effort inside of Team Xbox right now to bolster this library as much as possible, and if they keep going at this kind of pace, we'll see hundreds or even thousands of more supported titles by the end of 2025. I would be curious though, do you stream any of your games via Xbox Cloud Gaming, that being via the Xbox Game Catalog or via your purchase games? I'm keen to have a discussion about it as well in the comments below. One final point which I wanted to cover today is for a game that I did mention in my previous video, and that's because it's finally resurfaced and is one that I'm incredibly excited for. Exomecha has finally come out of radio silence, and we heard more about this Titanfall inspired mech FPS, and we also finally got a release date of either Q4 2025 or into Q1 2026. I did actually put a poll out yesterday here on the channel to sort of ask you guys if you wanted to play Exomecha or if you've actually even heard of it before, and it seems like the overwhelming majority of you have never even heard of this game, so I'll give you a very brief rundown. This one's basically a 20 versus 20 multiplayer FPS, and it has you fighting across different locations as either infantry, with vehicles, or of course the insanely cool looking mechs. The devs have also said that it's very much inspired by Titanfall, so if you love the multiplayer within that series, you will no doubt find this one right up your alley. As I mentioned though, this one is currently in Kickstarter at this moment in time. That's due to it having a very small development team, and multiplayer games are incredibly hard to publish these days without any publisher, so it'd be great for all of us to support them in the comments below. Currently, this one is listed though as a PC and Xbox launch exclusive, and it'd be very interesting to see how it lands with the player base later on this year. What do you think about the Xbox news and updates for this week? Are you sad to see the Xbox film and TV section being discontinued, or are you looking forward to some more news about the new From Software game? You'll have to let me know and let's discuss it in the comment section below. Remember to like this video if you enjoyed, and also subscribe, as we're now one of the largest Xbox communities here on YouTube. Whilst you're here though, why don't you check out my most recent video as I covered the 14 brand new Xbox and Game Pass announcements over the past week, and I tell you what, there's quite a few games here which are looking pretty astonishing.